These are 10 critical mistakes that virtually every parent makes when talking to teenagers, and they're destroying the very connection you're trying to build. The worst part? Most parents have no idea they're doing it. Let me start with something that might surprise you. Dr. Lisa Damour, one of the world's leading experts on adolescent psychology, says teenagers are actually wonderful. They're spicy and fun, she explains. The thing that's key is teenagers can smell at 1,000 yards who likes them. So if you decide you don't like teenagers, it's actually not going to go very well with a teenager. But here's the problem. Despite our best intentions, we're systematically sabotaging our relationships with our teens through communication patterns that feel natural to us as parents, but are toxic to the teenage brain. And to understand why, we need to start with what's actually happening inside their heads. The adolescent brain doesn't finish developing until the mid to late 20s. The prefrontal cortex, the part behind the forehead responsible for planning, prioritizing, and making good decisions, is one of the last parts to mature. Meanwhile, teens process information primarily with their amygdala, the emotional center. Dr. Ayesha Sengupta from Tufts University explains it perfectly. In teens' brains, the connections between the emotional part of the brain and the decision-making center are still developing, and not always at the same rate. That's why when teens have overwhelming emotional input, they can't explain later what they were thinking. They weren't thinking as much as they were feeling. This isn't just academic theory. This fundamental brain science explains why traditional parenting approaches backfire so spectacularly during adolescence. And it sets the stage for our first massive mistake. Mistake number 1 is we talk more than we listen. We lecture. And here's the brutal truth. Lectures never work with teenagers. No one likes them, and they alienate whoever is being addressed. When we launch into explanation mode, teens tune us out completely. They want to be heard, not talked at. Even if you disagree with them, they need to know that you understand their perspective and won't disregard their feelings. But we don't stop there. Mistake number 2 compounds the problem. We get stricter as teens get older. This is completely backwards. Your teen naturally wants more independence as they mature, but many parents react by clamping down with tighter rules. This strategy will backfire every single time. Though it might feel like the only way to protect them from dangers and their own mistakes, over-controlling creates resentment and causes teens to pull away from you. The third mistake is perhaps the most well-intentioned but damaging. We jump to fix problems instead of listening. When your teenager comes to you upset, your parental instinct kicks in. You want to solve it, make it better, offer reassurance. But here's what one teenager told researchers. All I want is for her to listen to me, but she always interjects her opinion or tries to find a parenting moment when I just need her to hear what I am saying. It's so frustrating and makes me never want to share what's going on. We probably don't know enough about the situation to suggest solutions yet, and our loved ones may just want to vent. When we immediately jump to problem solving or say things like, maybe this is for the best, or don't worry about it, it ends up feeling invalidating to them. Mistake number 4 cuts even deeper. We dismiss their problems as not a big deal. It can be hard to feel sympathy for your teen's canceled date, acne breakout, or mean teacher when you're facing mortgage payments, work stress, or health issues. But if you really want to encourage your teen to talk to you, you must recognize that your child feels like they have an emergency. Their problems may look insignificant to you, but they feel like major life events to your teenager. Trying to offer perspective by saying this won't matter in the long run, or this isn't a big deal, only makes them feel like you don't understand them. The 5th mistake destroys trust instantly. We yell and lose our cool. When we scream at our teens, we make them feel unsafe in their home environment. It can cause them to act out for attention. Remember, when you yell, your child tunes you out. If you remain calm and talk using an even tone and relaxed demeanor, they're much more likely to respond in kind. Mistake number 6 is subtler, but equally damaging. We show disrespect through sarcasm, eye rolling, and interrupting. If your teen feels like you don't respect them, they will not open up to you. Common ways parents show disrespect include raising voices, being sarcastic, disapproving their perspective, refusing to consider their point of view, criticizing their beliefs, and refusing to negotiate. Respect is a two-way street. You cannot expect to receive respect without giving it. The 7th mistake reveals our adult-centric thinking. We force conversations on our schedule. You cannot schedule your child like a meeting. Most teens open up when they feel comfortable, not at convenient times. Conversations typically happen spontaneously during car rides, dinner time, or in the evenings. There's actually something magical about car conversations. Maybe it's the distraction of other cars or the fact that you don't have to make eye contact, but it's consistently the best place for bringing up any topic. Dr. Damour shares an insight that perfectly captures this. Kids report that their favorite time with family is when their mom or dad lets them choose the music in the car and just drives and listens to what the kid is interested in, being curious about it. That to kids is profoundly connected, and it's agendaless, and it's present. Mistake number 8 is the foundation that makes everything else fall apart. We don't spend enough quality time together. It's crucial for teenagers to feel connected to their parents during these years. If parents are too busy or neglectful, this causes teenagers to act out and rebel. Connection isn't just about being in the same house, it's about presence, attention, and genuine interest in their world. The 9th mistake creates unnecessary conflict. We make all or nothing declarations. Parents excel at ultimatums like, "You can't date until you're 17, or "You can never talk to that kid again." Dr. Evadine Codd from Children's Hospital Colorado suggests making more concrete, reasonable limits clear instead of these sweeping pronouncements that invite rebellion. Finally, mistake number 10 might be the most human of all. We forget what it was like to be a teenager. We have so much stress in our adult lives that we forget our children have things to worry about too. Between hormones, peer pressure, school requirements, and household expectations, teens are genuinely stressed. Although their worries don't seem important compared to adult responsibilities, they are critically important to them. Here's the reality check that should change everything. In 2023, more than 5.3 million adolescents had a diagnosed mental or behavioral health condition. That's over 20% of all teens. 40% of high school students reported feeling persistently sad or hopeless. 1 in 5 seriously considered suicide. These aren't just statistics, they're our kids. And here's the kicker. Parents consistently report higher perceived levels of their teenagers' social and emotional support compared to what teenagers actually report experiencing. We think we're connecting, but they don't feel connected. So, what does real connection look like? Dr. Damour has a simple but powerful technique she calls newspaper editor listening. When your daughter spills her love triangle drama, you play back a headline that distills what she communicated. She can't help but feel heard. The truth is, teenagers often hit out at the people they most love and trust, not because they hate you, but because they feel confused. Don't take the bad things they say personally. They may feel confused, angry, upset, or hormonal, and they don't know how to express it properly. Dr. Kenneth Ginsburg from Children's Hospital of Philadelphia puts it perfectly. It is not what we do. It is their understanding of why we do what we do that frames our relationships and shapes their reactions. Understanding this changes everything about how we approach our teenagers. They're not broken versions of adults. They're humans with developing brains navigating an incredibly complex world. When we stop making these 10 mistakes and start truly listening, validating, and connecting on their terms, we don't just improve communication. We potentially save their mental health and strengthen a relationship that will last their entire lives. The teenage years don't have to be something we survive. They can be something we genuinely enjoy if we're willing to change how we show up for these remarkable young humans.